it's Sherlock and Natalie's Starfish for the next part. Yes, we're gonna do the, now what do you do after you got the quilt top? We got the quilt top done. So we're gonna do 5 steps. We're gonna layer it. We're gonna outline it twice. I know, why am I doing that? I'll show you. We're gonna do the flip trick. I love the flip trick. We're gonna whip it closed and then we're gonna quilt. All right, so the first step is to make that, we gotta get the layer going. And we got the backing is gonna be in this blue. I snipped it already and then, you know, because I love snipping everything. There we go. All right, we got 2 big pieces. These are gonna be the back. We're gonna put a seam down the center and then we're gonna do the layer. Next. Thank you, Sherlock. So why am I doing a seam down the center? Because I'm too cheap to buy the very fancy 108-inch wide fabric. So I've got the smaller fabric, and they didn't have it in robin egg blue anyway. So there you go. I'm gonna have the seam down the center. So what? So what? Let's do this. What are you barking at, Bubble? You barking at the birds? Are you barking at the birds? Oh my goodness. Why are you barking at the birds? You know what's cool when you sew fabric of the same color together, your eye doesn't really see the spot in between anyway. Unless, of course, you're a quilt judge. You quilt judges out there, you know who you are. Or my other fellow people who have OCD. Maybe all quilters have OCD. Is that why we quilt? Because we like the precision. We like the expertise. We like it when it all comes together and makes it awesome. I don't know, could be. Back to our seam. We had a nice seam going and I wasn't paying attention. And it's heavy, so all right. Let's just go back. Put that nice. Hold on to it. Hold on to it. We got a lot of fabric going on here. Slobbing off the table. Oop, come on. And nice. Bam! Bam! All right. What do we do after we iron? After we sew? We iron. Is it ironic? No, it's not ironic. That's not the definition of ironic. All right, so we are now layering, and what I've got is the right side of the quilt top and the right side of the backing, and they're facing each other. And right now I'm pinning all the way around. Actually, I'm not just pinning, I'm safety pinning, because I hate finding straight pins on the ground. It drives me crazy. Anyway, I wanted to show you that this doesn't, it's not gonna lay completely flat. So the solution we're gonna do is we're gonna hand tie it off. That way we'll be fine. But when you get this wonky, and it is absolutely wonky, you can see that we've got some wonkiness going on here. Some of that was from me just lifting it up. But we've got some wonkiness going on. That wonkiness, if we quilt it, if we machine quilt it, it's gonna bunch up and tear and, not tear, but it's not gonna look nice. But if we hand tie, it'll be fine, which is, and I've got a blanket right underneath it. I do have hand tied, I wanted to show you. So this one is the one I use in my bed. This is hand tied. And we've got the diagonal, which is what we've done with this one. And we've got straight on here, and what I've done is just hand tie that off. So let's see, here's a little hand tie. Anyway, so we're gonna hand tie this. That's the secret. That's the secret to what happens if your quilt turns more into a wonky blanket. Well, hand tie. Plus it's kind of snowing out right now. Hand tying is perfect for watching TV. You can just, anyway, so we're in the layer part. I skipped way ahead, sorry. Okay, so I have pinned all the way around. Pinned all the way around. I've got the quilt top on top. I've got the bottom on the bottom. And see where these double pins are? I'm going to outline stitch from there all the way around to these double pins right here. And then I can do the flip trick where we're going to, after we do the outline, we're going to get the fabric sewn, and then we'll do the next part. So this part is the sewing, but we're pinned. Hi, all right. So now we're on step 2. We've done our layer, that was step 1. Now we're going to do step 2, which is outline. We're going to go around with the fabric, and then we're going to put the backing on and go around it again. So we're going to outline twice. So I'm going to start where those double pins were, and we're just going to sew around the circumference. This is my quilt. Oh. So we got the double pins. We're going to go right after that. Okay. I'm reinforcing that opening because when we flip this around, we want to be able to not have it rip open. Are we yelling at the birds, Bobo? Is Sherlock yelling at the birds? All right. We see the backing is way outside. Oh, maybe you can't see it. I've got lots of extra backing. That's all right. That is perfectly fine. And I like to take the pins out as we're going so that I don't break a needle. I hate that. Don't you hate breaking needles? Ugh. So I got all this extra flap. You'd think I was going to rip it, but you know, when you get this far along, it's like, let's go a little bit slower. Let's just cut. It's not going to be the end of the world to cut. So I'm going to leave a little bit extra. So the next part, we're going to get to the actual batting part. Let's go ahead and trim this off. So I've got batting that's, this is a throw, so it's 60 by 60. So just a little bit bigger than what we need. And let's get this. Here's our quilt top and our quilt backing. So this should be fairly straight, which will be helpful. But there we go. Okay, and then I'm sure I've told you before, this is a queen size bed. Just kind of get some idea for the sizing here on how big everything is. On the floor too, but I have a dog and a cat, and I will tell you, batting picks up fur big time. Okay, so there's my two. Not that opening to be again on the bottom down here. I don't know why. Be the same orientation, I guess. Give me the same orientation. So I've got the backing. We've outline stitched that. This around here. All right, is it worth lining it up to the edge? No. Making breaking batting is fun. You don't have to line it up on the edge. You can. Seems like an awful, like a lot of extra work. But you can. I mean, it's an option. Alright, doing the same thing I did before. I'm just pinning. And then we'll outline stitch it again, this time with the batting on there. So why did I do it separate? You know, sometimes it's tough to work with 3 layers. So, trying to find a simpler way to help y'all. Sometimes I do all the layers together, sometimes I don't. This one, it just made sense to, because I had so much wonkiness going on with this quilt top. I'm going to go ahead and get that, take care of that wonkiness by getting a more structure with that back. So there you go. Hello. Hey Sherlock. Okay, so we're on outline, second outline. So let's get this second outline going. We've got our, yes Sherlock, thank you. We've got our double pins here. We've got double pins here. We're going to make sure that we can keep that opening. I'm just going to do my best to sew right over the top of that line that was already there. So, but when we do that, that's going to actually sew on the batting. So now the batting's on. We've got them pinned with the safety pins, mostly because I don't like getting stabbed with regular straight pins. So, all right. So when it starts, now we start wrestling alligators, huh? Okay, so we went from these double just markers, and we went all the way around to these, and we have our opening. Ooh, so before we do the flip trick, which is number 3, we're going to trim all the extra off. And I'm going to show you a little bit about the corners. So we want to do the corners a little different. So it's not just to do the edge, but we want to kind of cut the corner off like this. So that when we turn that around, this won't be so thick at the corner when we're doing the flip trick. Okay. So that's, because that's all going to fold back into itself. All right, I am going to be hand cutting this. Again, I know you love that when I rip, but you don't rip it. You can't rip it. And I'm going to trim a little bit closer than I did with the outline of the blue. So there we go. Something nice and chilling to do. All the cameras off. You don't need to be watching that. All right, so we got the trimmings are off. And we're back to, let's see what we got going on here. So we've got the quilt top that's facing in. We got the backing, and then the batting, and then the backing's actually way inside. So where is our opening? So we've got some pins of the opening. So let's go ahead and get those off because I don't want to end up, excuse me. All right, so let's go ahead and take those pins off. I don't want to actually end up, sewing over the top of those. Or forgetting they're on the inside. Because if they're on the inside, then you got to do surgery. We got to hold it back up, and we got to cut into it. And not that I don't love my seam ripper. Rip is awesome. My Yellowstone seam ripper is he's a tool. Quilting. All right, there's one of my sad puns, including that one. How's that? Oh, goodness. All right. All right, and one more. Be a little bit more like a surgeon. Would have been nice if I actually had a nurse that was helping me count these, but empty. All right, we got an extra piece of goober there. Okay, so we're on number 3. Number 3 is the flip trick, the quilt flip trick. So we are going to reach in between the quilt top and the quilt bottom, and we're going to turn this inside out. Why are we doing this? Because I hate binding. I hate binding, you guys. I hate binding. So this is like a false, fake binding. If you're turning a quilt in for a quilt show, you don't want to do fake binding. They will mark you off for that. Blah, blah, blah. But, does it still look good? I'll let you be the judge of that. Unless you're a quilting judge, then you'd be like, no, that's wrong. And if you're a quilting judge, like, really, what are you watching this channel for? Maybe get some good ideas. Okay, so, shake it, baby. Come on, come on, come on. All right, we want these corners nice and corner pointy. But we're gonna do that so we have turned it inside out. Here's the front, here's the back. And what we're gonna do next, okay, so let's get the pointies pointy. Get your fancy scissors, not the super pointy one, maybe the ones with a little bit of roundy to them. Oh, the hole go. I turned it inside out. I don't have the hole anymore. That'd be a trick. We still have to close that open, don't we? Where'd it go? Huh. Remember, oh, there it is. Okay, remember I told you the blue actually hides everything? So the blue hides everything. All right, so reach in gently. Unless you already have a corgi that chews in the corners for you. Okay, I've got my scissors and I'm going to just gently poking out that corner. Now, it's not too fat because I snipped the edge off, or the corner piece off, right? All right, let's put up the next one. Whoa. Okay, gentle, gentle. Gentle, gentle, gentle. Poke, poke, poke. I don't have to be perfect. I'm not looking for perfect. Okay, let's go to the next corner. Okay, corner number 3. Let's get that poked out. Nice. And corner number 4. Should be over here. Getting kind of tangled up with the stuffing. There we go. Corner number 4. Scissors. Ooh, gentle, gentle. All right. Look at that. Beautiful. Okay, scissors are back out. So, let's take a look. Ta-da-da. Oh, it's turning so much into a nice blankie, huh? Here's our seam on the back side. You gotta get a little closer to see it's right here. Can you see the seam? Right there. But further back, it kind of just blends into one big piece. So, is it worth it to get the 108-inch wide fabric? I don't think so. If I thought it was worth it, I would have paid more money for it, but I didn't. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and iron the edge out, and then we're gonna undo the clothes. So, whip stitch the clothes, baby. Whip it. Whip it good. All right, let's get to ironing. All right, so I'm continuing along with my ironing here. So it's kind of bunched up. What I'm kind of doing is I'm picking it out with my fingers. And when I've got that edge out, I am ironing it. So makes it a little flatter. So this has been done. This has not been done. This has been done, so it's nice and flat. All right, and as we get pinch, pinch it, pull it, whatever you need to do to get that open. I'm gonna do some steam here or some I just distilled water here in a second. I'm going to get this whole guy going. Remember, we got 3 layers going on this point, so. There we go. There. Wunderbar. Okay, now let's add some steam. So we've got the whole thing ironed, and we are ready for the next step, which is, all right, whip close, whip close. So we're gonna whip stitch the opening closed. If I can find it again. All right, so here's the front, here's the back. All right. Oh, nice. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. How square do we get? Uh-oh. Pretty close. Pretty close. I've had some that were much, let's see if we can, maybe it's my folding. All right, that looks good. I got all the corners lined up. Let's see how we did. Oh, that's pretty straight. And so is that. Not too shabby. I've made some much more croquet blankets in my time. But hey, that's how you learn, right? Awesome. Awesome. All right, let's get set up for some whip stitching. Sweet, sweet. Next step, number 4, whip it, woo. All right, so we've got the needle is threaded and knotted. We've got our opening. I'm gonna kind of use a ironing board here. I think it's a perfect little spot. So when I was pressing this, I made a nice press about where the opening was. I folded this under, so I just gotta basically sew in the slots, you know? It's like, okay, there we go. So whipping is literally, I'm just going in a circle. If I can get that in there. Trying to show you what I'm doing at the same time I'm doing it. It's like, I don't know if I got the best angle for that or not. We're trying. Do it at the same time I get a good camera angle. And, well, I don't know if I like this needle. This is not a very, like this needle. Actually, I don't. We're gonna get a smaller needle. It's all the same size. They are not. Ooh, look, I got craft needles. Okay, we're gonna get a different size. Let's not just waste all the thread though. I'll be darned. Wasn't paying attention to needle size. Okay, there you go. Get that. What do you think, Sherlock? Could have got a smaller needle size, Mom. Okay. Put that one back on that. Okay. Should be a point here. Yeah. How about that one? Ooh. All right. That's a stabber. Thread. Exactly what we want to do. Let's thread on camera. That'll be fun. Sherlock, how come you're not threading my needles for me, huh? That's what I think about it too. Just one of those you need opposable thumbs for? I think you do. Okay. So I'm a loop and tie person. So there we go. Looped it and then tied it. And then I'm going to take that loop and then make a fatter knot. Maybe. Tell you what, there's there's lighting for y'all for the good video picture. and then there's lighting for me, so I can see what I'm doing. Whew. All right, let's try this again. So I want the knot to be inside the fabric. So we're up under. There we go. We're up under. Pull that out. And it came right through because the knot's not fat enough. Okay, let's put another knot in it. That's not look like two. It's very soon. It's very thin thread. Let's put another knot in. You liking that other knot, Sherlock? All right, that's better. All right, let's get back on this. So we had too fat of a needle, and we had not enough knots. This is exactly what you want to film. All right. Yes. Okay. So. All right, I'm gonna keep whipping. I'm on 4. All right, so we whip stitched it closed, our opening is closed. I still have like safety pins to kind of show me where I was at. And now we're gonna do the quilting. So before I do the hand tying quilting, I am going to simply go around and stitch in the ditch all the way around. So it kind of makes a look that it's a binding, but it's not really a binding. It's just a fake binding. I didn't really make a binding. All right, and I'm gonna start a little bit further back from the corner and then go around, and I've got the pin so that I know where I started. And I'm gonna start right in the ditch. So this is white thread, but I'm sewing the ditch so it should be pretty invisible. But it's also white. So we've got the white check upper thread. I just sewed. Oh, where's my thread? Huh. Wow. Okay, well, let's get that fixed then. We're going to need to rip that. Where's Rip? Where's my seam ripper? Meet Rip. Rip the seam ripper. What? Isn't that cool? All right, perfect. That's what we want. All right, I'm going to keep doing this. I was talking about going to the hand quilting, but I think I'm going to go ahead and do the outline stitches for this outer bands. Why not? Maybe it gives it that dimensionality, right? Why not do it to this next couple? Okay, that's what I'm going to do. Ah, there you go. That is called being flexible, my dears. Keep flexible. If you like the look, then keep going, you know? Now, at some point, we've got a little bit of wonkiness in the center. Remember, I was showing you that, and that's why I want to do the hand quilting. So when we get to that checkerboard part, yeah, we're going to have to hand quilt that part. But we're still looking pretty good with this outer stuff. These outer bands that we added, so let's just keep doing it. Next, I did outlines on the borders. And you can see that they're poofy looking. See the poof? I did this, I wanted to show you this before I ironed it so you can see the difference. And it does the concentric circles going in. So nothing overlapped. So we didn't get too pinchy. We did kind of, there's my string, okay. But as you can see, the center is not completely flat. So at this point, we absolutely have to do hand tying off. And why do we need to do hand tying off? So got the instructions. Before I do the instructions, I gotta get the string. It's driving me crazy. This is the OCD part of quilting. Oh, look, it's a, where's the camera? It's a string. All right, so on our instructions, for whatever the batting is that you're using, there'll be something on there that says quilters. It says quilters may quilt up to 4 inches apart. Washable shrinks 3 to 5%. So yeah, even though we've got buckling now, even washing it does that. You know, this is one that I've washed many times, and see it does poofiness, right? So that's the 3D part. But we have a little bit more wonkiness going on with this. So 4 inches apart means we need to have something tacked down every 4 inches. The reason for that is so that the inside, the batting, right, the batting that we put in there, doesn't wonk around. So you've had old jackets where you washed it, or you washed it wrong or something, and the stuffing all bunches up one way or the other, or it just gets all wonked up inside, and you got lumps over here and not lumps over here. That's what we're trying to prevent. That's why we need the instructions on the batting. And every batting is different, so you want to watch that. Old batting used to be at 3, which is why you see a lot of quilts at 3 inches. There's some sort of quilting. We're gonna do these. We're gonna hand tie off on these corners inside our checkerboard. So each corner, we're gonna hand tie that off. And we'll put it, I'll show you how to do that. We'll do the ties, but the ties will be on the bottom. So we'll have some nice little ties on the bottom. And I think I have some ecru thread I want to use. I like using crochet thread. It's thicker. You can use yarn, you can use whatever you want to tack it down. I suppose you could staple it, but who would want to find a staple in their toe? That's kind of weird. I don't know why I thought about stapling. What do you think, Sherlock? Oh, Sherlock. See, I'm not a dog, I'm a cat. All right. Olive has come by. What do you think? Do you like it? It's got little roosters on there. Extra threads. Huh? Is it cat approved? Aw, nice. The cat approves. Yay. All right. So, to get this, we are going to put a safety pin wherever we want to hand tie. So, get this as hand ironed as we're going to. Thanks, Kat. And we are going to actually, do we need one every single one? I don't know. I mean, we're going to hand tie them off, but do I need a safety pin at every single one? I don't think so. You're being cute? You want to just lay there and be cute? That's your job, is to lay there and be cute while I'm doing the pinning? Nice. That's kind of fun. Okay, hey. Oh, I don't want to stab myself. Come on, pin. There you go. Not as sharp as you want to be, huh? All right, well, so I'm not going to put them every single square, but we're gonna pin this down a little bit. Why not every single square? Because the pins are being a pain in the ass. So, how's that for a reason not to do them all? But we need to have some sort of idea where we're at. So I see we got a little bit of wonkiness going on right there. Well, we will show you how to hand tie off. Oh, here's the whole back so far. So you can see the quilting and the dips that we did. And I haven't ironed it yet. It doesn't really need ironing anymore because it's dimensional. So there you go. Oh, blinkies! They're the best, aren't they? All right, so let's show you how to hand tie. I'm going to do a X. So just very basic stitch. Let's show you how to do that. Hi. Thank you, Sherlock. So what I mean by crochet thread is stuff called literally crochet thread. So it's skin, it's, sorry, where's the camera? Over here. Okay, so it's that thick compared to my fingernail. This is size 3, so you need a E4 crochet hook. I'm doing that. There you go. Maybe that's a little bit easier to see. Okay, so this one's called Bridal White or Ecru, and then this is a white. And between the two of these, what looks best with our fabric, I think, is closer to the white. So we're going to use a whiter white, and I'm literally going to do an X. So I'm going to do X's on the X's. So let me show you what I'm talking about, and then you can imagine me doing this to the whole thing. And I'm going to start from the bottom because I want the string hanging out on that side. And I will show you, truly the only thing I ever use a thimble for. But I use it for a measuring device. So what we're going to do is we're going to find the piece here. And the needle that holds the thread for this is it's kind of a fat needle, right? So you don't want to, when you're pushing this through your fabric, you want to wiggle it through. You don't necessarily want to punch it through because you don't want to break the thread. So I'm punching through, see my little X here? So I've got one on this side, and I'm going to do it diagonal to it, so it's over here. Back down. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. You're going through 3 layers, right? You're going to go down. I can pull this through, okay? This is way too much string afterwards. So we're going to pull this through. We're going to tie this off, but we don't need that much. Okay, so that's plenty to tie off, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. And then we're going to go the other way. So we've got a diagonal. So now we're going to go to the blue side. Make sure we get this real close so you can see. We'll come up over around here. No, too far out. Right there. Yeah. Give it a twist. Wiggle. So I came out on the blue. Right. I'm going to go ahead and pull that. So on this side, we have our loose string. See that? We're going to pull it through, so it's going to be on one side. See how that's on the other side? And then we're going to go back down on the blue, which will end up on the outside. So we'll go back down. So now we're diagonal to the blue that came up. We came up on that side. The diagonal is going to be on the other side right here. Twist, kind of drill. There we go. Okay. Come on, baby. All right, now, see on this side we got a little bitty tiny X. Okay. And on this side, we have the thread that came through one side, and we're going to tie a square knot. So under over, and then over under. Get that nice and tight. And then here's the thimble part. Truly, the only thing I've ever used a thimble for has been measuring my hand-tied-up quilts, which is kind of funny if you think about it, because it's not, I mean, the idea is so that you don't end up stabbing yourself. Okay, so, got my scissors. I use my thimble as a guide for how far to cut. And, let's see if I can do this while I'm showing you on the camera, and give it a snip. So there's my little hand tie. So I got 2 pieces there and 2 pieces there. There you go, and some extra. And I will do that for every corner that we've got on our checkerboard. And that'll be the hand quilting. We'll be done. I like to do hand quilting when I'm watching my favorite movie. Or a movie that's kind of paying attention to it. This is really kind of brainless work. Try not to stab yourself. Do it all the time. All right, we're gonna go ahead and publish this puppy. Do I make another video about the end part? I don't know. I haven't decided that. I might just make a post to show you the picture of it when it's done. We'll see. Let me know what you think. If you're like, no, we want a whole nother video. Like, okay, we'll do another video. I'm ready. I've been doing this robin egg blue one for a while, and you know, the wonkiness got me all discombobulated up a little bit, and that's okay, because that's what you learn. I learn whenever I do these things. It's just what it is. So I'm ready to move on to the next quilt, but I will be working on this one here and there and get this finished up. But we're done. So hope you enjoyed this video. It's YouTube. You know what to do. The buttons, push the buttons. One of these is the video to like what YouTube thinks that you'll like, and then there's another one that says, hey, you know, subscribe, and then you know, Sherlock could use some cookies. So if you liked it, you liked it. If you didn't, you didn't. Hope you enjoyed yourself. I sure did. I love quilting. And is there anything better? I don't know. Maybe. Who cares? Quilting's awesome. Mwah! See you later. Bye.